Setup is a little better since last time. Not least fault because I got my little kitty cat here under my table. Hi, Hundy. She's looking up at me. Alright, so welcome back to Planescape Torment. Last time, we did what I call fucking up bad. So we're gonna not do that this time. We do actually have to start again. I would ideally like that quest stuff, so I want to not screw that up. So we're actually gonna start anew. And I learned a little bit more about the way the stats work in this game. I did a little bit of reading. You know, a blind playthrough is fun, but not necessarily for me. So I'm actually going to go all the way to 18 Wisdom. Don't know if you know about this. This is Planescape Torment. It is based on the D&D 2nd edition setting, Planescape, which centers on the city of Sigil. This game follows your journey as the Nameless One. And as you can see, we cannot rename the Nameless One, so I guess that's it. But, so, Wisdom affects your growth rate as a character. It affects how fast you get experience. And the experience levels for every class that you can choose in this game are different. But the point is, getting more XP faster is better. Pretty much always. So, after that, you have to go to 16 Intelligence, and then 13 Charisma. So, Charisma opens up the most dialogue options out of any of them. But Intelligence also opens up a few, and it gives you access to stuff that, like, you need to do to get around. You know, solving puzzles and all that you just straight up can't see the answers for if you're too stupid. So that's fun. Now, Strength, Dex, and Constitution are all good and valuable. But especially through level up by, like, the fighter class, it sounds like you can kind of get around a lot of that. Although we may get walloped by the zombies early on, so I'm gonna level up Dex just because I think we're gonna go Thief first. No, probably Mage first and then Thief. That way we can, although thieving does give pickpocketing. Actually, I'm told that you should do Charisma 14 in some cases. So, alright. Now let's go. Alright. And we awake again inside the mortuary. Yeah, sorry to disappoint everyone that we're starting here again, but...
Hey, Chief. You okay? You playing corpse or you putting the blinds on the dusties? I thought you were a deader for sure.
I'm really surprised that Mort has that whole opening line. But after that, I don't... He only voices, like, the beginnings of lines, and he has a couple of, like, repeat dialogue. Who am I? How about you start? Who are you? I don't know. I can't remember. I asked you first, so... I do want to be good. I do want to be good. Can't remember your name? Well, next time you spend a night in this burg, go easy on the bub. Name's Mort. I'm trapped in here too. Yeah, since you haven't had time to get your legs yet, here's the chant. I've tried all the doors, and this room is locked tighter than a chastity belt. We're locked in. Where? What is this place? It's called the mortuary. It's a big black structure with all the architectural charm of a pregnant spider. The mortuary. What? Am I dead? Not from where I'm standing. You got scars aplenty though. Looks like some Burke painted you with a knife. All the more reason to give this place the laugh before whoever carved you up comes back to finish the job. Scars, how bad are they? Well, the carvings on your chest aren't too bad, but the ones on your back... Say, it looks like you had a whole tattoo gallery on your back, Chief. Spells out something. Looks like you come with directions. Let's see, it starts with... I know you feel like you've been drinking a few kegs of stick swash, but you need to center yourself. Among your possessions is a journal that'll shed some light on the dark of the matter. Farad can fill you in on the rest of the chant if he's not in the dead book already. Farad? Does it say anything else? Yeah, there's a bit more. Let's see. It goes on. Don't lose the journal, or we'll be up the sticks again. And whatever you do, do not tell anyone who you are or what happens to you, or they'll put you on a quick pilgrimage to the crematorium. Do what I tell you. Read the journal, then find Farad. No wonder my back hurts. There's a damn novel written there. As for the journal I'm supposed to have with me, was there one with me while I was lying here? No. You were stripped of the skins when you arrived here. Besides, looks like you got enough of a journal pen on your body. What about Farad? Do you know him? Nobody I know. But then again, I don't know many people. Still, some books gotta know where to find Farad. And once we get out of here, that is. How do we get out of here? Well, all the doors are locked, so we'll need the key. Chances are, one of the walking corpses in this room has it. Yeah, the mortuary keepers use dead bodies as cheap labor. The corpses are done with stones, but they're harmless, and won't attack you unless you attack first. Okay.
Done.
So, when we last went through this, we did get a little ways through the mortuary, but not very far. But this time, we are hopefully going to get all the way through it, since I kind of know what I'm doing, at least a little bit. And we'll get a little more experience on the way. My understanding is you can be good or evil, lawful or chaotic. The values for them are unfortunately invisible. No, where's my equipment screen? Inventory. So, I won't know if I'm being good or evil, except by my own judgment. And I'm just going to trust my judgment. Death couldn't kill my zest for life. These corpses here, they probably didn't have much personality to begin with. So, my name's Jude. I probably should have opened with that at the start of the stream. I'll get a little better at this, I promise. It's been a minute since I've been streaming, kind of having to get back in the swing of things. My name's Jude. You can find me here at JudeX9 on Twitch.tv or 660 feet on YouTube, depending on where you're watching this. Actually, I think it's 660 reviews in the crew. You can find some of my old KOTOR streams there. Didn't end up having time to finish that one. Used to do some Destiny streaming as well. But we're back in the flow of things, and I have been obsessed with Planescape lately. So for a long time, I was very into Dungeons and Dragons when I was younger. And I still am into RPGs now, but my tastes have changed drastically. But I find myself eternally with a soft spot for the second edition of D&D. It utterly fascinates me. Those early two editions and original D&D, D&D Basic, before the advanced stuff came out, first and second, they are just incredible. Not in that they're good. No, they're quite bad. And, they're burdened not only by like their time. That there may have been dated values in the 80s. Yeah, we know that. Gygax is uniquely racist at times. Like blood quanta, calipers kind of racist at times. Planescape isn't completely free of that. The nature of the nature of a game is that you carry whatever values are put into the design, no matter what module you make for it. And the fact of the matter is that, like, things like statistics, attributes, racial alignments, those kinds of things, the way that Gygax viewed the world and created the world of D&D, which, mind you, he did do some setting writing, but the main D&D setting, Forgotten Realms, is by Ed Greenwood, and I'm forgetting who did most of the Planescape writing. I should look that up after this so I can talk more about it next stream. But Planescape was really compelling compared to a lot of the normal D&D affair. Not that you didn't have dungeons, not that you didn't have, the usual adventures, but rather than focusing on killing monsters, collecting treasure, hiring lackeys, and that kind of thing, which was a big thing in 1st and 2nd edition. I don't know why 3rd, 4th, and 5th cut it. The aim of D&D initially was basically to become a feudal lord, and that was very baked into the classes, that, like, as you leveled up, the amount of followers you could have was determined by a combination of your charisma and any class features. Like, I think fighters and thieves especially got to be natural leaders. Anyway, I really like the system and all its little quirks, and Planescape is among the most fascinating of its modules and adventure settings. Planescape is basically set in the afterlives of the multiverse. There are 16 different planes, as well as the Outlands, the true neutral plane where, just sort of anybody goes after they die. If they didn't believe in anything, follow any code, they just end up here. And here, we're in Sigil, the City of Doors, which you can get to a lot of times by accident. And Planescape Torment, a very popular computer game, early, I guess I would say CRPG, of the model of, like, Fallout and the original Elder Scrolls, the stuff that would eventually become, like, KOTOR and Mass Effect. Oh, those are both BioWare games. I should name another one. Disco Elysium famously took a bit of inspiration here. The big thing that Torment is concerned with, that Planescape in general as a setting is concerned with, is philosophy. Moral philosophy, frameworks about the universe, the value of life, of the lives that we lead, how our ideologies inform our actions, and vice versa. So, but for now, none of that matters. We're in a mortuary, and we need a key, and we have to fight zombies. Well, we don't have to fight them. We have to fight at least one, but... examine the corpse. Its fingers are broken, as if someone smashed it with a hammer. Its left shoulder is heavily bandaged. The bandages might be useful if the corpse was disposed of first. Oh, no, we're getting all the Mort dialogue again. I really like Mort. He's very snarky, very charming. Okay, 569, we're gonna kill you. I am sorry. Thank you, Mort. Okay, more bandages. Okay, I want to talk with the corpses first. I like talking with them, because you get these little interesting things. 825 may have been hanged. I love the way all the zombies are given distinct deaths and personalities, despite never talking. Carrying nothing. Hands are heavily bandaged. The zombies are worth a bit of experience points, and I don't love to metagame, but I think it's appropriate in a game based on D&D. Okay, and our final corpse. 782. Faint smell of formaldehyde emanates from its body. You're probably recent. Looks like he's got the key there in his hand.
Die.
Oh, a critical. I haven't actually seen one in this game. Nice little effect there. Okay. sally forth. And we have lost our key. Psst. Some advice, Chief. I'd keep it quiet from here on. No need to put any more corpses in the dead book than necessary. Especially the femmes. Plus, killing them might draw the caretakers here. Who are these caretakers? They call themselves the Dustmen. You can't miss them. They have an obsession with black and rigor mortis to the face. They're an addled bunch of ghoulish death worshippers. They believe everybody should die, sooner better than later. I'm confused. Why do these Dustmen care if I escape? Weren't you listening? I said the Dusties believe everybody's gotta die, sooner better than later. You think the corpses you've seen are happier than the dead in the dead book than out of it? Where'd they all come from? Death visits the plains every day, Chief. These shamblers are all that's left of the poor sods who sold their bodies to the caretakers after death. Before you said something about making sure I didn't kill any female corpses, why? You serious? Look, Chief, these dead shits are the last chance for a couple of hardy bashes like us. We need to be chivalrous. No hacking them up for keys, no lopping their limbs off, things like that. What are you talking about? Chief, they're dead, we're dead. See where I'm going? You can't be serious. We already got an opening line with these limping ladies. We've all died at least once. We'll have something to talk about. They'll appreciate men with our kind of death experience. Didn't you say before that I'm not dead? Well, alright, you might not be dead, but I am. And from where I'm standing, I wouldn't mind sharing a coffin with some of these fine, sinewy cadavers I see here. Mort starts clacking his teeth as if in anticipation. Of course, the caretakers have to part with him first, and that's not likely. If I have any questions, I'll ask you.
Updated my journal.
I really enjoy their little banter. I hope that it is meant to be friendly. I want to be friendly with Mort. He seems like a charmer. The number 594 has been scratched on her forehead with a charcoal pencil. Doing anything later? See the way she was looking at me? Huh? You see the way she was following the curve of my occipital bone? What? Are you blind? She was scouting me out. It was shameless the way she wanted me. Wanted you to go away, maybe. She was obviously too distracted by me to pay attention to some stupid bobbing head with a big mouth. Yeah, right. Trust me, shits beyond the grave don't care about all that physicality, and I've got a body, and I'm all scarred and tough looking. They want guys with spirit. That's me, Chief. You? Corpses like you are as common as copper. Alright, well, I hate to do this, but you are worth experience points. So... left side of this one's face looks as if it was caped in with a club. Number 626 has been stitched on the corpse's right cheek. Nasty wound you got there. Farewell. Nothing to say. You are just experience points to me. Oh, good fucking job, Mort. Goddamn. Hey, what's up, zombie worker? 965. Looks like someone forgot to tell this sod to stop walking the rule of threes. These corpses don't have much left in the attic, so they can't do more than one task at a time. When they're told to do something, they'll keep doing it until someone tells them to stop. This poor sod probably finished his own task, and they forgot to tell him. Who gives them their commands? Either one of the caretakers here, or else whatever necromancer raised them out of the dead book. Probably one of the caretakers here. They're the ones who need the cheap labor, after all. What was that you said before about the rule of threes?
Updated my journal.
Well, the rule of threes is one of those laws about the planes, about things tending to happen in threes, or everything's composed of 3 parts, where there's always 3 choices, and so on and so forth. You don't sound like you hold much faith in it. It's a load of wash, if you ask me. If you look for a number, any number, and try to attach some great meaning to it, you're going to find plenty of coincidences. I want to examine this zombie a bit more. I do want to know why he's walking in a triangle. I might not want to kill this one. Yeah, just, just out here murdering women and leaving quirky men alive. I think our nameless one is a little bit of a misogynist. That is my personal stake. Okay. And another one. Of course, carrying a roll of bandages. Bandages look usable. You snake your hand out and take the roll of bandages from the corpse's hand. Doesn't even seem to notice. Continues to go through the motion of bandaging the bodies. Sorry about taking those bandages. It's just that I need them more than the bodies here. Alright, man, we gotta kill you. Sorry. We should go back and kill that corpse. It would make me feel weird to not kill it. Alright, man. You're dead. Excellent. Very good. We're doing wonderfully more. Ooh. My friends. Number 1201 has been inked on the forehead of this corpse. As you follow the ink tears down the corpse's face, you notice it has run into the stitching sealing the corpse's lips and is caught in what looks like the corner of a note stuck in the corpse's mouth. If you try to pull the paper out through the cross stitches, it would tear the paper to shreds. Hacking the corpse up to get it looks like it will destroy the note. You'll need to find a delicate way to remove the stitches. Okay, we're going to leave you in peace for a sec. And then check our inventory. This is a foul-smelling note retrieved from the mouth of one of the mortuary zombies. Looks like it was sewn onto the corpse's mouth by accident. Please, to whatever dustman reads this, I beg of you, I know of my legal obligation under the terms of the dead contract, but I'm prepared to offer more than my signing fee if you will cremate my body rather than erase it. I arrange for this note to be left with my body upon my death. If you are reading this, then please use this note as instructed and accept the result in exchange for my contracted duty. Looks like the corpse is too late to prevent the raising, but you notice that beneath the writing is a diagram. Looks like the directions for folding a parchment into a strange pattern. Okay. 1 mark on the upper right, 2 marks on the lower right, 3 marks on the lower left, no marks on the upper left. Fold upper right, lower right, upper left, upper right. So you fold the upper right back corner back to the center, the lower left, the corner mirrors the action until all the corners touch in the center. You watch for a moment and the corners of the paper raise up, turning the note into a small four-sided paper pyramid. Take the triangle earring. So Planescape has 3 rules, quite famously, and I believe a kind of a 4th one, secret 4th one. So, first one is I believe the rule of 3s. I believe that's the first one. And that one just dictates that everything in the universe comes in 3s. Now, the thing about this is these are ostensibly axioms. I believe that like the faction in Planescape that is essentially quantum physicists goes and looks into this, and they dictate that these are just like universal truths. They're as true as gravity. Let's see. The heuristics of Planescape. This is what I mean about it being very set on like philosophy and truth and life and death. Again, I really think it's like worth reading a lot of the Planescape source books. I think it's worth playing a game of Planescape or trying it out if you haven't before. And I think really like interact with the factions. That's the fun part. I ran a Planescape game back in 2017, 2018, and this was 5th edition was then, as it is now, all the rage. Maybe a little less so back then. Critical Role and Taz had just taken off, but everyone wanted to play 5th edition, and I knew 2nd edition at that point. I hadn't played 3rd and 4th even. My uncle would eventually get me the 4th edition source books. Might even have been for that Christmas, and I've got a few of the 3rd edition, but the 2nd edition is just like, it's clunky and crunchy and weird, but so deliberate and purposeful in its design and what it's doing. And Planescape was built for 2nd edition, and the bane of my existence back then was statting new creatures for 5th edition. I still hate it. It killed my interest in running 5th edition games after a point. I think the last one I ran was 2021, might have been 22, and that was an Eberron game. And they just released a new Planescape setting book for 5th edition sometime last year, the year before, and I am interested in it, not enough to get it. Again, I don't really play 5th edition anymore, what would be the point? But they basically like undid a bunch of stuff towards the ending of the Planescape setting in 2nd edition. One of the weird quirks of D&D as a system is that it often released source books, modules, and campaigns to tie into new edition releases and to help transition your characters from one edition to the next, and that the editions take place at canonical times in the universe. First and second are both in the 14th century, and I think 3rd onwards is all the 15th. 4th and 5th for sure. I don't know exactly when 3rd and 3.5 are. That might be the edition I know the least lore about, partially because I think they were still in the process of like doing major rewrites and deciding on if there would be a canon. 4th edition had a big thing of using D&D material and focusing on specifically the Forgotten Realms. They even did away with Planescape and the way the planes worked, the Great Wheel cosmology, which is still people's preferred cosmology. That's, I think, why they brought it back for 5th edition. I think for a while, though, it was the World Tree, though that might have been 3rd. 5th has, like, some interesting spell and magic lore, but nothing that's, like, substantive. 2nd edition has so much weird stuff around spells and spell schools, and I, again, really like it. I don't like everything being divided into the 8 schools cleanly. I like when there are other disciplines of magic, and I like... Allegedly, the 8 schools are actually not really schools in terms of, like, learned and practiced, but in terms of these are literally 8 components of the universe. Anyway, the heuristics... there are 3 principles. This is off the Wikipedia page. I should be able to remember this, but I don't. I never can. Because the second one is the weird one. The first rule is the rule of 3. Things tend to happen in 3s. And this is interesting to me because it is a rule. It's a governing principle. It should be true, like, in your games. Like, this is part of the GM's advice section. There are multiple characters that make a big deal out of it philosophically. But it isn't like the other 2 that are just like facts and certainties and constants. This is a tendency. This is a trend. This is like the golden ratio, I guess, that things tend to occur in this ratio. I don't know if I'm using the golden ratio right. And then unity of rings. Many things in the planes are circular, coming back around to where they started. And that's not even... Many things, yes, but specifically the planes themselves. The Great Wheel is a wheel. Sigil is a torus on top of an infinitely tall spire. The Outlands is a big circle within, each of the planes is, each of the sets of planes. The outer planes is a circle around the Outlands. The inner planes are a circle around the material plane, a sphere. And then the final principle is the center of the universe is wherever you are, which has always been interesting. The third principle is the center of all, and states there is a center of everything, or rather, whatever person happens to be is the center of the multiverse, from their own perspective at least. Okay, so maybe none of the rules are true. Maybe I'm misremembering. Okay. Smell of formaldehyde emanating from this corpse is particularly strong. The Smells like it was applied recently, and with good reason. This corpse appears to be in an advanced stage of decay. Her jaw is missing. Some of the flesh has slid off her skull, revealing the number 1072, chiseled into the bone. Alright, and... kill.
Did you see that?
I did, Mort. You did very good. Its jaw is hanging open and a trail of ichor is trickling from the corner of its mouth. Sorry about slicing the stitches, just had to see what was in there. And kill again. Oh, awesome. Almost forgot that I need to be... Oh, logbook. Right. Okay, any more zombies in here? Yeah, there's my little guy. This female corpse is making the rounds from slab to slab in the room. Her hair is knotted into a long braid and looped around her neck like a noose. Someone has stenciled number 1096 onto her forehead. Did they say male corpses? I need to find another one to talk to. Sorry, it's just whenever I hear the word female, all I can think of is Shockwave from the Transformers cartoon, just yelling at the last girl Transformers on Cybertron, just going, "Female Autobots!" He was so mad. This walking corpse says the number's 1094. Despite the pallid, sunken features and lifeless, milky eyes, it is clear this was once a handsome young man. Alright, goodbye, handsome young man. We will talk to you in a sec. Yeah, we might have to talk to him now. Alright, let's go. This is Dahl. Cough. The scribe looks very old. His skin is wrinkled and has a slight trace of yellow, like old parchment. Charcoal gray eyes lie within an angular face, and a large white beard flows down the front of his robes like a waterfall. His breathing is ragged and irregular, but even his occasional coughing does not slow the scratching of his pens. Greetings. Whoa, Chief, what are you doing? I was going to speak with the scribe. He might know something about how I got here. Riding your bone box with Dusty should be the last thing. Before Mort can finish his rant, the scribe begins coughing violently. After a moment or two, the coughing spell dies down. The scribe's breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. And we especially shouldn't be swapping the chant with sick Dusties. Come on, let's leave. The quicker we give this place the laugh, the better. Before Mort can finish, the scribe's gray eyes flicker to you. The weight of years hangs heavy upon me, restless one. He places down his quill. But I do not yet count deafness among my ailments. Do you know me? Know you, There's a trace of bitterness in the scribe's voice as he speaks. I have never known you, restless one. No more than you have known yourself. He's silent for a moment. For you have forgotten, have you not? Who are you? As always the question, and the wrong question as always. He bows slightly, but the movement suddenly sends him into a bout of coughing. He pauses for a moment, catches his breath. I am Dahl. Perhaps you can answer some questions for me.
Updated my journal.
Very well. What did you wish to know? What is this place? You are in the mortuary, restless one. Again, you have come. Before he can finish. Come. Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing. After a moment, he calms himself and his breathing resumes its ragged wheeze. This is the waiting room for those about to depart the shadow of this life. This is where we get into the Dustmen's philosophy. The Dustmen are an interesting faction to me, if only because of the nature of what Planescape is. Again, it's the afterlife. You can get there by plane or travel. You know, all those spells that are like summon lesser demons, summon greater angel, whatever the hell. They're summoning from the planes. And in Planescape, you know, you can use the door spell, the greater portal spell. There's a bunch of spells that get you here, scrolls, technology, whatever. You can end up stranded, of course, and a lot of times you end up in Sigil. Sigil is full of portals. So goddamn many portals. It's the city of doors, doors and doors and doors and doors and keys. Can't forget the keys, but that's not as important. It's mainly the doors. Not every door is locked, but every door does take you somewhere. And so the other way you get there is by dying. You know, you end up in the afterlife that fits, like, whatever god you worshipped, you'll go there. Whatever principles you followed, you'd end up there. Like, if you're a good person, you'd probably end up in Bytopia or maybe Ysgard. Sometimes, whatever the fuck the Olympus is called, I can't remember if that was part of Bytopia or not. You know, or the Seven Heavens, you might end up there as well. All depends on the kind of life you live. And, you know, if you were bad, you could end up in hell. If you were orderly above anything else, you would probably end up in the home of the Modrons and Mechanus, sometimes called Nirvana. But the Dustmen, they want to die. They want true death. Yes, a shadow. You see, Restless One, this life, it is not real. Your life, my life, they are shadows, flickering of what life once was. This life is where we end up after we die, and here we remain, trapped, caged, until we can achieve the true death. This life is where we end up after we die, and here we remain, trapped, caged, until we can achieve the true death. True death is non-existence, a state devoid of reason, of sensation, of passion. Dahl coughs and gives a ragged breath, a state of purity. Sounds like Oblivion. Why would anyone want that? I agree, I don't like Oblivion either. Definitely one of the worst ones ever made. Video games, that is. My epic Elder Scrolls joke. I've never actually played Oblivion. I did play Skyrim, but I've never played any of the other Elder Scrolls. Is it worse than remaining in the shadow of what life once was? I think not. A shadow of life. What makes you think this life isn't real? What makes you think this life is real? Look inside yourself. Do you not feel something lacking? Dahl shakes his head. This is a purgatory. There is only sorrow here, misery, torment. Planescape torment. Torment in the plains. These are not the elements that make up life. They are part of the cage that traps us in the shadow. I think your fatalism has gotten the better of you. Those elements are part of life, but not the whole of it. Dahl shakes his head. Passions carry weight. They anchor many to this shadow of life. As long as one clings to emotion, they will be continually reborn into this life, forever suffering, never knowing the purity of true death. This is something I'm not clear about with the planes. There are ways to permanently die, and in fact the Dustmen deliberately seek them out. One of the inner planes, which are all the elemental ones, the fire, earth, water, air, there's also positive and negative energy, and then those flow together, create the para-elemental planes and the quasi-elemental planes. One of them is the interaction between negative energy and air creates, I believe, the plane of void, and that, like, strips you down and destroys your soul. The negative energy also does the same thing, but your body sticks around and becomes a zombie forever, but your soul is gone. And there are like creatures that devour your soul, creatures that strip it out of you. But if you just like jump off of Sigil, if that is possible, and I think it is, it depends on which description of Sigil you're going with, which I know has also varied by edition, and even within the same edition. If you jump off a really tall part of the abyss and just fall through one of the dozens and dozens of portals into one of the other layers and just hit a rock as hard as your body can, and all your HP is gone, or you hit negative double over your regular HP, you fail all your death saving throws, whatever you want to say. Where do you go? Are you dead there? Do you revive somewhere else? Do you revive in that plane? Are you dead there forever? How come these corpses are still around? I think in a lot of places, particularly with the Dustman, it's implied that if you die, a normal death, one that doesn't obliterate you, that you do come back, but usually not as yourself, I think. Part of Planescape is also often that you can come here by dying, but you tend not to remember your life. You tend to be reborn as a petitioner. And again, that's a thing that varies by location, although in the lower planes, petitioners are always these little worms, which is the origin of all fiend kind, we think. every kind of fiend that we know starts as one of these worms. We think all these worms are the same worms. And every worm is like an evil soul, or someone that got trapped in, bound to one of the nine hells, to the abyss, to the gray wastes, whatever. But, sorry, I'm doing Planescape lore dump, and we should be just playing it. How does one escape the cycle? Kill your passion, strip yourself of the need for sensation. When you're truly cleansed, then the cycle of rebirth will end and you achieve peace. Doll sighs. It sounds like a death rattle in his throat. Yeah, you know how it is with the evil worm soul? Haven't you ever seen it? Haven't you ever looked inside yourself? Hags can also turn you into one because they're a kind of evil creature, and that's one of their curses, is to turn you into a fiend worm. And then you have to work your way up the hierarchy of whatever version of hell you end up in. If it's the nine hells, you gotta work up as a devil. If it's the abyss, you basically have to fight and kill demons until you become a stronger demon. And with the Yugoloths, or the daemons, every creature, when they were doing the 2nd edition and 3rd edition thing of like trying to avoid religious connotations, they had second fantasy names for devils, demons, angels, and there were devils, demons, daemons, which are lawful, chaotic, and neutral evil. But the Yugoloths, they're just like in it for the love of the game. You know, the demons want everything dead. The devils want to control everything. The Yugoloths, I think, just want to make money, or they have like an end goal in mind that is very distinct from what the other two are doing. But I'm forgetting what. Past these shells of ours, past the eternal boundary, lies the peace that all souls seek. The eternal boundary. The boundary between the shadow of this life and the true death. True death. Sounds like Oblivion. Shadow of life. What makes you think this life isn't real? Cage us. Passion, scary, wait. They incriminated. Oh, okay, we did all that. Tell me more about the mortuary. This is where the dead are brought to be interred or cremated. It is our responsibility of dustmen to care for the dead. Your wounds must have exacted a heavy toll if you do not recognize this place. It is almost your home. Dustmen. We dustmen are a faction, a gathering of those of us that recognize the illusion of this life. We await the next and help others on their journey. Perhaps you can explain why the dustmen want me dead. It is said there are souls who can never attain the true death. Death has forsaken them, and their names shall never be penned in the dead book. Which is this? To awake from the death as you have done suggests you are one of these souls. Your existence is unacceptable to our faction. Doesn't sound like it leaves me in a good position. You must understand, your existence is a blasphemy to them. Many of our faction would order you cremated, if they were aware of your affliction. You're a dustman, but you don't seem to be in favor of killing me. Why not? Because forcing our beliefs upon you is not just. You must give up the shadow of life on your own, not because we force you to. Dahl looks about to break into another coughing jag, but he manages to hold it in with some effort. As long as I remain at my post, I will protect your right to search for your own truth. What's your post? I am a scribe, cataloger of all the shells that come to the mortuary. As long as the stream of corpses flows through the mortuary, I shall remain at my post. I've been here more than once. How is it that the dustmen do not recognize me?
Updated my journal.
I am the one that catalogs the shells. Come to our halls, restless one. Dahl breaks into a fit of coughing, then steadies himself. Only I see the faces of those that lie upon our slabs. The dog of your existence lies safe with me. I had some other questions. Yeah, what is this place? Tell me about the mortuary. Sigil. Sigil is our fair city, restless one. Wounds? Yes, the wounds that decorate your body. They look as if they would have sent a lesser man along the path of the true death. It seems as if many of them have healed already. Dahl coughs violently for a moment, then steadies himself. But those are only the surface wounds. What do you mean?
Updated my journal.
Speak of the wounds of the mind. You've forgotten much, have you not? Mayhap your true wounds run much deeper than the scars that decorate your surface. Dahl coughs again. But that is something that only you would know for certain. Can you tell me how to get out of here? The front gate is the most obvious exit, but they will not let anyone other than a dustman pass. One of the guides by the front gate has a key to it, but it is unlikely he will open it for you unless you are extremely persuasive. Hi, Hundy. Do you know who I am?
Updated my journal.
I know scant little of you, restless one. I know little more of those that have journeyed with you, and now who now lie in our keeping. I ask that you no longer ask others to join with you, restless one. Where you walk, so walks misery. Let your burden be your own. They're here? Oh, no, I wanna...
Updated my journal.
Do you not know the woman's corpse interred in the memorial hall below? I thought that she traveled with you in the past. Am I mistaken? Where's her body? The Northwest Memorial Hall on the floor below us. Check the biers there. Her name should be on one of the memorial plaques. Mayhap that will revive your memory. I don't know. Don't recall ever traveling with a woman. He simply stares at you in silence. Before you said there were others who journey with me. Where are they? Doubtless there are, but I know not their names, nor where they lie. One such as you has left a path many have walked, and few have survived. All dead come here. Some must have traveled with you once. Find a fault. Had some other questions. What do you do here? You're a scribe. You sound ill. I'm close now to the true death, restless one. It will not be long before I pass beyond the eternal boundary and find the peace I have been seeking. I tire of this mortal sphere. The plains hold no more wonders for one such as I. Might be some way I could help you. I do not wish to live forever, nor live again, restless one. I could not bear it. As you turn to leave, Dahl speaks. Know this. I do not envy you, restless one. To be reborn as you would be a curse that I could not bear. You must come to terms with it. At some point, your path will return you here. Dahl coughs, the sound rattling in his throat. It is the way of all things flesh and bone. Perhaps we'll meet again.
What's up?
Hey, Mort. Yeah, you know what?
Sure, why not?
Yeah, come on.
I'm gone.
How do I get you to follow me more?
Yeah?
Oh, there we go.
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
What is this place again?
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
We're caretakers.
Hey, what's eating you, Chief? Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
You and me, Mort. You and me against the world. Me when I'm confused by the monster devouring my friend.
Hey, what's eating you, Chief?
Is that joke land for anybody? Alright, let's get out of here. I'm thinking we'll stream for about an hour. We've been going for about 40 minutes now. Oh, damn, I do want to get out of here, though, but I guess I got too distracted Planescape lore dumping now that I've, read back up on my sources, and I feel a lot better today than I did last week. I'm so excited now. God damn it. Zombie. Examine the books. Ooh. Write the page. So this basically details that Farad is up to something potentially shady, in that every time a shell comes in, and there are a lot that come through Farad specifically, they tend to be stripped of all their stuff, and they have a lot of knife marks on them. So it could just be there's been a rash of stabbings, but it could also be that the Dustmen, or not the Dustmen, but the collectors are killing people to get the money for bringing their corpses in. So this is the most recent page of the book. These have all happened within the past couple of days. You know, we can find a few of the details here. No possessions, Fifth Night Skeleton, Tiefling Male. This, I think, is the one right before us. We haven't even been logged in the Dead Book yet. So the Dead Book is a ledger of everyone that's died in Sigil. Now, the problem is, I think the Sigil writers are unfamiliar with population density, because it's like a big deal that Sigil has like 1 million people, and only 30% of those are permanent residents. Its square footage makes that like a really reasonable number by capacity. Like, there would probably be more houses than there would be people here. at least like plenty of houses for everyone. Oh, by the way, yeah, do you have any more books? No? Okay. Sorry, bookkeeping zombie. We're wreaking havoc in here. But there's only like, based on what those numbers were, and now that could be, you know, the numbers might change. They might be using like a weird system. Don't you get dizzy with your eyeballs facing like that? Yeah. Take that, asshole. You did nothing wrong at all. I just believe the undead are an abomination against nature. And I gotta fix everyone else before I get to me. This heavily stitched corpse is shuffling lazily back and forth between two slabs. The number 506 has been stitched onto its forehead, and the side of its neck, and its right arm. In fact, the skin of this peeling corpse has been sewn up with so many stitches, it looks like a bizarre street map. Stitches encircle the corpse, running from its arms, across its chest, up its neck, and into the damp mass of white hair. As you follow the crossroads of stitches, you notice someone has jammed a needle into the corpse's forehead. Cut the stitches. Seems you got two different designations. Okay, we've got the needle and thread. So the needle and thread we're going to need in a sec, but first I want to... This guy fascinates me. I do wonder why he's got two different designations. It could be... There's a guy in the next room we're going to meet, and I think it's probably him, right? Let's see the video. Okay, 65 more experience. It's like 1,000 something to level up. Oh my god, we've been... Oh, that's where the stairs were. I was looking for those last time, and I couldn't find them. God damn, okay. Let's... Or do I need the keys for them? Was that the problem? Next level is at 8,000, so we're not that far away. Maybe we should at least go to level it up. 985 is stopped dead in its tracks. Judging from the condition of its left leg, it looks as if some sort of tomb rot or corpse mold is eaten through its knee. Last time we tried to help it and that failed, let's give him a push. Let's get that. Thank you, 985. Your sacrifice was noble. Oh, that doesn't give as much experience as killing the poor guy. What's up? Hello, Iveen. Greetings. I said greetings.
Updated my journal. Updated my journal.
Alright. So, second edition was also a big deal. I think first edition had tieflings, but second edition introduced them as a playable character option, and people went crazy. It was all the rage to play a tiefling. I think there was like one of those weird racial requirements of playing a specific alignment. I don't know if they had to be chaotic or had to be like matching alignment with one of their parents or something. I don't know what the deal was, but tieflings, for every good reason and for some bad ones, became all the rage for forever. I love them. You know, they're one of those classic, like, weird fantasy things that edgy people love, and I wasn't really edgy. It's weird. I didn't really get into tieflings until I found 5th edition. And I really liked tieflings. I really liked devils and demons and all the infernal fiend lore. That stuff was always really interesting to me. I think part of it is that they don't give the upper planes and the heavens and the angels as much interesting stuff to do for reasons I've never really been clear about, like, the Hells have all these interesting conflicts, and they show that good people are conflicted too. I know part of it is just that, like, well, evil is all-consuming and self-serving, so of course they fight, and they fight, and they fight, and they fight. But, like, this is partly why alignment doesn't work for me. Elves have all these interesting conflicts, and they show that good people are conflicted too. I know part of it is just that, like, well, evil. We're gonna drink that. Hello, zombie. You and me, let's talk. As you address the zombie, it blinks in surprise. Oh. You're not a zombie. Who are you?
Updated my journal.
Zombie is trying to respond behind stitched lips. He has a particularly half-frightened, half-angry expression. Here we go. There's a lot we can ask here. He is good at disguising people as corpses, which is nice. And we do need that. The last time I ran too fast. But we actually want to lie to him because it gets us some extra stuff.
Looking for me? Why?
He squints at you.
You got a message for me?
Yes, I have a message for you. I have your new orders. He narrows his eyes like he's trying to figure you out. I'm here to relieve you.
Updated my journal.
Zombie looks disappointed, but he shrugs and begins to fish deeply into his stained tunic.
Been quiet. Dusty's been quiet. Nothing new since last report. Here.
Must have been hidden so as to avoid turning up as if he was searched.
Me leave in short while. You want out? Go to Arch on first floor, northwest room. You need finger bone, shape of crook. Go to Arch, jump to secret crypt and can escape from here. Secret escape route. You can rest there. Updated my journal. Must be one round somewhere. Look in storage rooms on upper floor. Maybe there.
Oh, you know what? Okay. We've got embalming fluid and the needle.
To know, some bug appeal you?
Missing a journal. Oh, wait. No, someone named Fraud.
Updated my journal.
Gets us a lot of XP.
Updated my journal.
Here we go. This is the fun part. I wish there were at least a game speed option because, oh god. Speed is so goddamn slow. Okay. Hello, Irene. I have come for you. Bearing gifts. Alright, here we go.
Updated my journal.
Oh, right, a vision. You stand in front of a freshly slain corpse, rigor mortis making a mockery of its smile. Number 42 has been stitched onto its scalp. The zombie is lying on a slab, and you have just finished stitching up its chest. You've placed something inside, something that may prove useful if you come this way again. The memory of your voice is an echo, strange and hollow to your ears. You cross your arms in front of your chest, and to your surprise, the corpse does too. After a moment, its hands fall back to its side.
Updated my journal.
Zombies, not paintings. Zombies, not paintings. She sniffs, then pokes one of your scars. This one, bad shape, many scars, no preserves. I'm gonna let her work. We're gonna see where this goes. This is probably a bad idea.
Updated my journal. Stronger.
Oh shit! Oh fuck yes! When she's done, she sniffs you, frowns, and stabs her fingers into the embalming fluid. Within minutes, she has stabbed your body with the fluid. Makes you feel better. Done.
I feel stronger.
Yes! Level up! Yeah, what a handsome zombie we are. So to hit armor class is a fun one. To hit armor class 0, because 0 is the best armor class, and 20 is the worst. Does this make sense? Are we understanding this? Oh, god damn it, I'm a fighter. Fuck. No, I need to change. We got a point. Let's start putting these into dexterity. Don't know who I am. Don't know how I got here. Don't know how to get out. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a look at that map. Adjust the camera? No, that's the... What are the controls again? I need to check that. Oh, and we're going to do option. Let's save real quick, because we're actually doing good this time. New save. We will call this... Journey Begins. Yeah, let's lock the view on the character. Options, gameplay. Oh, I would like that actually. Page access, actions. Okay, these are good to know. This is gonna be a minute, guys. Oh wait, god, this isn't even the direction I want to go, is it? Where the hell do I want to go? I don't think there's anything in the prep room for us. If it turns out that this door is locked and I've forgotten about that, I'm gonna be really, really goddamn mad. But here we go. I don't know where to get a crooked finger bone, actually. That's the one part I haven't figured out. I looked looked around, I dug into things, and I still haven't found it. Anyway, I guess we can walk and talk. If there's anything interesting about the planes you want to know, now's the time to ask. So D&D started, its original alignment system was just law, neutral, chaos, because Gygax was really fond of this one book series where, like, the forces of good are the forces of law, and the forces of chaos are the forces of evil. It was this grand cosmic, mythological kind of battle between these two armies of chaos and law, of order and strife. And that became D&D's first thing, which is partly why in 4th edition, and I think AD&D 1st edition and 4th edition have good, lawful good, neutral, evil, chaotic evil. It's like a sliding spectrum from good to bad. And lawful good is the most good, and chaotic evil is the most evil. And then they expanded that from a 3 set to a massive to a set of 9, a 3x3. And that 3x3 is, of course, the lawful good, neutral good, chaotic good, lawful neutral, true neutral, chaotic neutral, lawful evil, neutral evil, chaotic evil. The 9 alignment that we all know now, which was the standard for 2nd, 3rd, and 5th, I believe anyway. There used to actually be restrictions on whether or not you could play certain alignments based on race, based on class. Humans could be any alignment, could be any class. Elves could be most classes, but there were level limits, and most of the classes were like, you can only be a paladin if you're lawful good. And the thing about this is, what it does is that by restricting the space of players in terms of options, you can increase the space for designers in terms of creating effective roleplay hooks for each class. This is part of why I like 2nd edition over 5th, where 5th is just a character choice smorgasbord, and it leaves every option kind of vague and meaningless. 2nd edition, for all its faults, is intentional in its design. Seriously, it's gonna be fucking locked and I'm gonna be pissed. And then in Planescape, they dug into it, and there are 16 planes, plus the true neutral center, that each represent an alignment. And you would say, well, there are only 9 alignments, and if true neutral is already represented, shouldn't there only be 8 planes? So here's the funny thing about that. They have planes between each alignment block. And so what you end up getting is you have the planes of law on the... Here, let's look at the world map, actually. No, that's just for sigil. Damn it. The planes are like the mortuary. So let's go with the mortuary. Let's call this side the planes of law. This side, the planes of chaos. This is the lower planes. This is the upper planes. Right here, you have the lawful neutral plane of Mechanus. And over here, you have the chaotic neutral plane of Limbo. Very similar, very different, right? So you've got lawful good here and lawful evil here. But there's actually a plane in between each. In between lawful neutral and lawful evil. Lawful evil is the 9 hells. You get Acheron, the eternal battlefield. The conflict between neutrality and evil in the battle for order. Over here, you've got the 7 heavens, perfectly orderly heavens, all divine, all about adhering to very strict moral values, very strict moral codes, abstinence, chastity, all that. Patience is a virtue here. Humility too. Humility most of all. Mechanus. And in between is a plane no one really gives a shit about? I can't even remember its name. I can't even remember its name. God damn it. There's 16 planes, and like I think 10 of them are important. And even like of those 10, only three or four get like in-depth lore and what I would call playable features. Like, in my mind, if it's not really effectively playable, if there's no way to really interact with it, if you don't give hooks for the GM, if you don't give prompts for the player, it's nothing. It's just lore. Again, the lower planes, stuff everywhere. They're used constantly because that's where your antagonists are coming from. That's the source of conflict. And they create interesting conflicts between those two. So even if you are all evil, you might have different views in the party. You might have different allegiances within the party. You might have different allegiances even if you're all working for the same guy, even if you're all the same alignment, because it's about you getting yours. And you can do that with an all-good party. Let it not be said. Again, alignment is made up bullshit, and when you adhere to it that strictly, this is the reason it shouldn't be there in the first place. It restricts storytelling and does very, very little for the design space, because you can impose the same kinds of restrictions on classes, like paladins must follow a moral code, without inherently dictating the alignment of the universe and the the ethical code the universe fundamentally runs on. You can do all that without... When you say these people are inherently good, that says very, very bad things about the world and the nature of it and the way things work. I am not a believer in fundamental morality, in essential morality, and D&D just is. And I can get it on the level of gods, but even then it's iffy. But the heavens don't get a lot of like playable features. They have fewer realms. They have fewer listed out characters. It's usually pantheons, and those pantheons are usually painted with a broad brush. Like you might get one or two gods in the pantheon that have a distinct personality, like Garl Glittergold. Everyone knows Garl Glittergold. Do you know the rest of the pantheon of the Golden Hills? I don't. I was reading about them today, and I don't remember any of their names. I think one of them is Torm. I think he's like the blacksmith. He's important to a specific island. We'll get there eventually, guys. By the way, don't worry. We're on our fucking way. Here he goes. He'll get there. That's our nameless one. Boy, isn't he restless? Dahl was right. Look at that walk. Thanks, Mort. Thanks for pushing us along. So when you... Well, there he goes. But when you make morality like that a key feature of your universe, it can create compelling questions, and Planescape wants to create those questions. But the setting is kind of decided there that those questions are answered. That, like, good people are good, bad people are bad. And there's no really getting around that. Sometimes D&D is utilitarian in its judgment, that you are defined by your actions. Sometimes, depends on edition, depends on module, depends on writer. Sometimes it is based on intent, that your morals are based on who you are inside, and so even if a good person does a quote-unquote bad thing, they are still good, because if they did it for a good reason, if they did it for a selfish or bad reason, then they're bad. Most of the time, I would say D&D's pretty, like, based in the practical, based in the quote-unquote real of, like, what you do. I don't have an issue with that. That is kind of moral philosophy that I subscribe to, that, like, it doesn't matter what your reasons are a lot of the time, that it does matter much, much more what you do. But I also don't think it's as simple as just categorizing people into good and evil. I think it's about categorizing what their political philosophies are, what their aims are. And in D&D, it's like, well, if you serve the Raven Queen because you need to save your brother from the dead or Is the Raven Queen... Yeah, the Raven Queen is, I think, neutral evil or lawful evil. In older editions, anyway. I think nowadays she might be lawful neutral. We're at the stairs. We're gonna go up the stairs. Is that open? No, we can only go up. We need to find a finger bone. And so, what D&D basically believes is that it does not matter the quality of action you do. If you are in the service of Asmodeus, you are maybe not as bad as Asmodeus, but you are of the same alignment. That's just how that works, for the most part. What up, skeleton worker? What up, skeleton worker? That's just how that works, for the most part. What up, skeleton worker? Eight. Only in some of its teeth appear to be false ones made of reddish brown stone. Clearly not valuable. Pets the caretakers would have otherwise removed them. Stay healthy. Bind the bones of the skeleton with leather straps. Straps are secured to metal bolts by straps. Straps are secured to metal bolts punched into the skeleton's joints. Seen a great deal of service. Many of its bones are chipped and its numerous fractures are bound with seal and foul-smelling glues.